There's a guy making $65,000 a year who's broke, another guy making the same amount who's quietly building wealth. Same income, same city, same cost of living. The difference? One number that most people never calculate. And that single number explains why some people escape financial struggle while others stay trapped no matter how much they earn. It's not about budgeting apps or motivation or cutting out coffee. It's about a psychological trick that changes how your brain processes wealth building entirely. And in 2026, the friction that used to make this impossible has basically disappeared. Here's what I'm going to show you: how to restructure your financial life around daily actions instead of monthly intentions, why the daily frame succeeds where every other approach fails, and the specific protocol that makes staying poor genuinely difficult, not through willpower, but through system design that produces results automatically. By the way, I built a free early retirement calculator because most online ones are mathematically wrong. It uses BlackRock and Vanguard logic to expose the weak points in your plan, and I only ask for your email to send the report so I don't store any of your financial data. Link in the description. Let me start with a calculation that changed everything for me after 20 plus years running my own business. Take your annual savings and divide it by 365. That number is what you're paying your future self each day. For most Americans, that number sits somewhere between $0 and $20. Many high earners land at zero or negative. Now think about the wealthiest person you actually know. Not some celebrity, someone you've met. During their wealth building years, their daily number was probably between $100 and $500 per day. That gap explains almost everything about financial outcomes. Not intelligence, not connections, not luck. The daily deposit into your future self's account determines where you land. Here's the thing: the psychology changes completely when you shift the frame. Saving $36,500 per year sounds impossible for most people. Saving $100 per day sounds difficult but achievable. They're the exact same number, but one feels within reach while the other feels absurd. Your brain processes daily targets differently than annual goals. It's the difference between "I need to lose 50 pounds" and "I need to make slightly better food choices today." Same destination. Completely different psychological experience. Think of your financial life as a restaurant kitchen. In a bad restaurant, they try to fix everything once a month during some big inventory meeting. They notice they're losing money. They vow to change. They make plans, then everyone goes back to the line and continues the same behaviors because nothing in the daily routine actually changed. In a great restaurant, the chef tastes every dish before it goes out. Daily quality control, daily adjustments, daily feedback loops. The monthly numbers take care of themselves because the daily system is sound. Your finances work the same way. Monthly budgets are like that failing restaurant's inventory meeting. You're reviewing damage after it's done. You're trying to remember why you made decisions 3 weeks ago. The feedback loop is too long. The connection between behavior and outcome gets lost. You end up with a scorecard of failure instead of a system for success. Now, here's where most financial advice goes completely wrong. It focuses on restriction instead of awareness. It's all about what you can't do. Can't buy this, can't afford that. Need to sacrifice, need discipline. And look, I've been around enough accountants and fiscal lawyers to know that approach fails nearly every time because you're fighting human psychology instead of working with it. Let me tell you about something I call the morning money minute. Every morning, before checking email or social media, you open your primary financial app and look at three numbers: checking account balance, total debt balance, investment account balance. Don't analyze, don't plan, don't stress, just observe. 60 seconds total. This sounds too simple to matter, but there's a guy I know who runs a manufacturing business, makes about $200,000 a year, good income, was always broke. Started doing the morning money minute, didn't change anything else initially, just looked at his numbers every morning for 30 days. His spending behavior changed automatically, not because he was budgeting, because daily awareness triggers something in your brain. When you observe something every day, your subconscious treats it as important. Financial numbers checked monthly feel abstract. Financial numbers checked daily feel real. Here's what happens neurologically. You look at your debt balance in the morning. 7 hours later, you're at lunch. Your coworker suggests that new place that's $45 per person. Your brain automatically connects that $45 to the debt number you saw that morning. The connection is immediate. You packed lunch instead, not through willpower, through awareness. The morning observation created a through line between the small choice and the larger outcome. Most people struggling financially avoid looking at their numbers because the numbers cause stress. Classic avoidance pattern. But avoidance enables the exact behaviors that make the numbers worse. The debt grows larger, The savings stay stagnant, the stress increases, the avoidance deepens. It's a vicious cycle that only breaks when you normalize financial awareness. After a few weeks of daily observation, the numbers lose their emotional charge. They become information instead of judgment. But now you might be thinking, okay, awareness is great, but how does actual money get created? That's the second piece, something I call the 24-hour wealth capture. Every day, money flows through your life. Paychecks, side income, refunds, cash back, random windfalls. It arrives, and every day, money departs. Expenses, bills, impulse purchases, subscription renewals. Most people let this flow happen passively. They save whatever happens to remain at the end of the month, which is usually nothing. The 24-hour wealth capture flips this completely. You capture wealth first thing each day before spending has a chance to consume it. Set up a separate account you don't touch for daily expenses. Configure an automatic daily transfer from checking to this wealth capture account. The amount can be small initially, $5, $10. The consistency matters more than the quantity. Here's the psychology. A monthly transfer of $300 feels like a significant event. It creates a noticeable dip in your checking balance. It triggers loss aversion, sometimes gets skipped when the month feels tight. A daily transfer of $10 feels almost invisible. Your checking balance barely moves. The loss aversion trigger doesn't fire. The transfer happens automatically without emotional resistance, yet over the month you've captured the same $300. Look, I've watched people transform their finances through this single change. Someone starts with $10 daily. That's $3,650 per year. Most Americans save nothing or negative amounts annually. Any positive daily capture puts you ahead of the majority. As income grows or expenses decrease, you increment the amount. Start at 10 daily. Increase by $2 every 6 months. Within 5 years, you're capturing over $30 daily. That's nearly $11,000 per year accumulated automatically. No monthly budgeting battles, no willpower required. The compound effect extends beyond just the money itself. Each successful transfer reinforces your identity as someone who builds wealth. After 30 days, you've made 30 deposits into your future. After a year, 365 deposits. The habit becomes part of who you are rather than something you're trying to do. And this is where the psychology of money gets really interesting, because most financial mistakes aren't math problems, they're brain problems. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The expense side needs attention too, but not through restriction, through pattern recognition. I call this the sunset spending review. Every evening, 2 minutes reviewing what you spent that day. Not to judge yourself, not to feel guilty, just to observe and categorize. Open your banking app, look at today's transactions. For each one, mentally categorize it as either intentional or reactive. Intentional spending was planned or necessary. Reactive spending happened impulsively or emotionally. This daily review accomplishes something monthly budget reviews cannot. It captures the emotional context of spending while it's still fresh. When you review a month of transactions, you can't remember why you bought most things. When you review today's transactions, you remember exactly what you were feeling when you made each purchase. The reactive spending patterns become obvious within a week or two. There's a woman who works in tech sales, makes about $80,000 a year, started the Sunset Review. Within 10 days, she noticed a pattern. Every time she had a stressful client call, she'd spend reactively within 2 hours. Online shopping, food delivery, didn't matter what, the stress triggered spending. Once she identified the trigger, she could address it directly, started going for a walk after stressful calls instead. Her reactive spending dropped by about $300 per month, $3,600 per year, just from awareness of her pattern. Monthly budgets try to control spending through willpower and restriction. Daily reviews address spending through awareness and pattern recognition. The daily approach proves far more sustainable because it works with human psychology instead of against it. The review should take no more than 2 minutes. Scroll through today's transactions. Note which were intentional versus reactive. Notice any patterns. That's it. The brevity ensures the habit survives busy days and stressful periods. But you might be thinking, this is all about controlling money that already exists. What about increasing the money coming in? That's the fourth piece. And it might seem counterintuitive for a video about building wealth. Every day, spend at least 15 minutes learning something that increases your earning capacity. Reading about your industry, developing a technical skill, studying negotiation, learning about business models, deepening expertise in your field. The connection between daily learning and wealth building is indirect but powerful. Your income represents the market value of your skills, knowledge, and network. Increasing any of these increases your income potential. 15 minutes daily compounds into over 90 hours annually of skill development. Consider two people starting similar jobs at age 25. One consumes entertainment during all non-work hours. The other dedicates 15 minutes daily to deliberate skill building. After 10 years, the first person has the same skills they started with. The second person has accumulated over 900 hours of additional development. The income trajectories diverge dramatically. The daily learner qualifies for promotions, commands higher salaries in negotiations, adapts to industry changes, accumulates capabilities that translate to multiple income streams. The non-learner stagnates, becomes vulnerable to displacement, watches their relative value decline. The 15-minute threshold is intentional. It's short enough to fit into any schedule, it's long enough to make genuine progress, it's consistent enough to compound meaningfully over years. I've been investing in the stock market for years now, sitting on a few $1 million that came from exactly this principle. Not from working harder, from understanding how systems compound. The compound returns from daily learning exceed almost any other investment you could make. Make the 15 minutes non-negotiable. Morning before work, lunch break, evening before bed. Find a consistent slot and protect it. Now you're asking yourself how these pieces fit together. That's where the fifth daily habit comes in, something I call the tomorrow optimization. Before bed, spend 3 minutes planning tomorrow's financial behavior. Identify any spending decisions you'll face. Anticipate any triggers that might cause reactive spending. Set a specific intention for your wealth capture and any discretionary choices. This planning habit leverages implementation intention. Research shows that people who specify when, where, and how they'll perform a behavior are dramatically more likely to follow through than people who simply intend to do something. Vague intention looks like, I'll save money tomorrow. Implementation intention looks like, tomorrow I'll bring lunch from home, skip the afternoon coffee shop visit, and transfer my daily capture amount before checking email. The specificity transforms abstract goals into concrete plans. Your brain knows exactly what to do when tomorrow arrives. 3 minutes of evening planning can save hours of decision-making and prevent hundreds of dollars in reactive spending throughout the month. The leverage on this small-time investment is extraordinary. Let me show you how these 5 habits combine into a complete system. Your morning starts with the Money Minute. 60 seconds observing your 3 key numbers. This activates financial awareness for the day ahead. Your wealth capture transfer happens automatically, but your morning observation reinforces the habit. Throughout the day, your morning awareness influences decisions. The lunch choice, the impulse temptation, the upgrade offer. Your 15 minutes of learning happens at whatever time you've designated. Your evening includes the sunset spending review. 2 minutes examining today's transactions. Finally, your tomorrow optimization plans the next day's financial behavior. 3 minutes of specific planning. Total daily time investment is approximately 23 minutes. Total annual time investment is about 140 hours. The return on this time investment exceeds any other use of 140 hours annually. Now, let me address why this daily approach succeeds where other financial strategies fail. Monthly budgeting fails because the feedback loop is too long. You make decisions throughout the month and review results once at the end. By then, you've forgotten why you made most decisions. The budget becomes a scorecard of failure rather than a tool for improvement. Annual financial planning fails because life changes faster than annual cycles. The goals set in January become irrelevant by March. The plan sits in a drawer while daily life proceeds without reference to it. Daily habits succeed because they create tight feedback loops and compound consistently. Each day connects to the day before and the day after. The system self-corrects because you're observing and adjusting continuously. Daily habits also survive disruption better than periodic planning. When something interrupts your monthly budget review, you might not review for 2 or 3 months. When something interrupts a daily habit, you miss one day and resume the next. No single day carries excessive importance. Let me give you a realistic scenario with actual numbers. Meet Tom, 38 years old, makes $75,000 per year, has $18,000 in credit card debt, 0 in savings, starts implementing these daily habits. Week 1, just the morning money minute. Week 2, adds daily wealth capture of $15. Week 3, adds sunset spending review. Week 4, adds the 15-minute learning block. Week 5, adds tomorrow optimization. All 5 habits now operate together. First year results, captured $5,475. At 7% average return, grows to approximately $5,850 by year end. But here's what else happened. The sunset review identified Tom's reactive spending pattern. He spent about $400 monthly on food delivery during stressful work periods. Once identified, he reduced this by half. That's another $2,400 annually flowing into wealth capture. The 15-minute learning block focused on technical certifications in his field. After 8 months, he qualified for a promotion. Salary increased to $85,000. His daily capture increased to $25. By year 5, Tom's captured over $40,000 plus investment returns. His debt is gone. His income has increased twice more through skills developed in daily learning sessions. He's now capturing $50 daily. By year 10, he's accumulated over $150,000. By year 20, assuming modest increases in daily capture as income grows, he's accumulated over $400,000. These numbers assume nothing exceptional happens. No inheritance, no lottery win, no startup exit, just consistent daily habits and reasonable market returns. The mundane daily habit produces extraordinary long-term results. There's a deeper transformation that happens beyond just the numbers. People who implement daily financial habits develop an identity as someone who builds wealth. This identity shift matters more than any specific tactic because identity drives behavior automatically. When someone identifies as a wealth builder, spending decisions become easier. The question isn't, can I afford this? But does this align with who I am? The wealth builder identity makes frugality feel natural rather than restrictive. Makes investing feel exciting rather than deferred gratification. Makes financial progress feel inevitable rather than hopeful. This identity formation happens through daily action. Each morning money minute reinforces the identity. Each wealth capture transfer confirms it. Each sunset review strengthens it. Each learning session develops it. Each tomorrow optimization expresses it. After 100 days of these habits, you're no longer someone trying to build wealth. You're someone who builds wealth. People with wealth builder identity don't need motivation to continue. They don't struggle with consistency. They don't abandon habits when life gets difficult. The habits express who they are. Mock internal dialogue of someone without the system. I should really start saving next month when things calm down. Maybe after the holidays, I'll set up a budget. I'll be more disciplined. Fast forward 1 year, same conversation, same intentions, same results, zero progress. Mock internal dialogue of someone with the system. Morning alarm goes off. Check 3 numbers. Automatic transfer happens. Go to work. 15-minute learning block during lunch. Evening spending review. Tomorrow planning. Repeat. The system runs whether motivation exists or not. Let me leave you with perspective on why this moment, right now in 2026, represents an unusual opportunity. Technology has removed nearly all friction from these daily habits. Automatic transfers happen instantly and freely. Banking apps show balances in seconds. Learning resources are abundant and often free. Calendar apps remind and prompt without effort. 20 years ago, implementing these daily habits would have required manual bank visits, paper tracking, library trips, physical planners. The friction would have made daily consistency genuinely difficult. Today, the only friction is psychological. The habits themselves take less than half an hour combined. The mechanical execution requires almost no effort. The barrier is purely whether you decide to do it. This technological leverage makes the daily approach more powerful than it's ever been. Someone implementing these habits in 2026 has advantages previous generations couldn't access. The other factor making this moment unique is economic uncertainty, inflation concerns, market volatility, job market shifts, artificial intelligence disruption. The future feels less predictable than past decades. Daily habits provide resilience against uncertainty in ways that point-in-time planning cannot. Someone with strong daily wealth-building habits adapts to changing circumstances automatically. Their system continues producing results regardless of what happens in markets or politics or technology. Monthly budgets become obsolete when circumstances change. Annual plans become irrelevant when assumptions prove wrong. Daily habits persist because they respond to current reality rather than projecting future certainty. The person who builds wealth daily in 2026 will navigate whatever 2027 through 2046 bring with accumulated resources and ingrained habits. Here are your 3 practical takeaways. First, set an alarm right now for tomorrow morning labeled Money Minute. That single action creates commitment. Tomorrow morning when it sounds, perform your first 60-second observation of 3 numbers. Second, configure a daily automatic transfer today. Start with whatever amount feels completely painless. $5, $10, the consistency matters infinitely more than the quantity. Third, identify your 15-minute learning slot. Same time every day. Protect it like you'd protect a meeting with your most important client. Most people watching this will do nothing. They'll find the ideas interesting, maybe even compelling, then continue with existing patterns. A year from now, they'll be in roughly the same financial position. A small percentage will set that alarm. They'll start the money minute tomorrow. They'll add habits over following weeks. A year from now, they'll have accumulated thousands of dollars and developed identity as wealth builders. 5 years from now, the gap between these groups will be enormous. The daily habits I've described aren't complicated. They're not secret. They're not exclusive to people with special advantages. They're available to anyone willing to spend 23 minutes daily on their financial future. The only question is whether you'll be in the group that implements or the group that intends to implement someday. Someday never arrives. Don't work for money. Own the companies that do.